Hi Racquel, my name is Amber Thornton, and I enjoyed reading your post. I loved quite a few things that you mentioned and noted. Um, you chose step 8 for your discussion board post, and which states, made a list of all the persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them. Which I think this is such a huge and really important step in recovery, because it's the revelation of my addiction didn't just affect me, but it affected those around me. And so what I loved most about this was your integration with this step into group therapy. This is where I really got intrigued, which for the 12-step facilitation therapy manual, this speaks to the moral inventories. And to do a moral inventory in a group setting, I think is really powerful. I would imagine that there would be some resistance from some people, but hey, there's always that one in a group who's willing to go there and be vulnerable and raw. And I think with addiction recovery, especially in AA, I think that one of the reasons it's so powerful is because there is a level of humility and rawness usually present amongst the attendees, and it just creates an atmosphere that feels safe and allows others to feel safe enough to even do their own moral inventory. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. You really emphasized on having them explore the guilt that they've experienced, because guilt can hinder their recovery, and to talk about how they can release this guilt. And all I could think about while I was reading your post is shame, and how shame is so destructive. It hides itself deep in the crevices of all of our emotions that we feel, and becomes the number one thing that causes us to isolate, maybe even, which I think could be some of the main reasons why people find themselves in addiction, is because they're trying to not face the shame, not face the guilt. And so guilt or shame, Brene Brown actually talks a lot about this in some of her books, but shame, and I've read quite a few as well from some Christian psychiatrists. Dr. Kurt Thompson is another one who really talks about shame from a Christian perspective. It's very good. I highly recommend his book, The Soul of Shame. And he brings neuroscience. He really connects all the neuroscience with spiritual formation. But he says this too. He has what he calls confessional communities, which is really the same concept of group therapy. But shame is destroyed in community. Shame is destroyed when it is brought before others. And so shame grows greatly in secrecy, and it causes you to isolate. So I think the fact that you would even integrate this step where you have to do a moral inventory amongst the presence of others is powerful. It's a massive, powerful weapon to help destroy any guilt and shame. And it gives an opportunity for others to be ministered to through someone else's vulnerability. So anywho, I really enjoyed reading your posts, and I wanted to talk about self-forgiveness too. I'm running out of time, but self-forgiveness is so powerful to defeat shame. Brene Brown says this. She says, self-compassion is the number one killer to shame. That's how you destroy it. It takes having compassion on yourself. And so I really loved how you saw that as the therapeutic value to the group client. So anyways, I enjoyed your post. Thank you so much.